The World Goes On by Laszlo Krasznahorkai. Chapter 5. At the latest, in Turin. Well over 100 years ago, in 1889, on a day like today in Turin, Friedrich Nietzsche steps out of the gate of the house at number 6 Via Carlo Alberto, perhaps to go for a walk, possibly to pick up his mail at the post office. Not far away, or by then all too far away from him, a hackney cab driver is having a difficult time with his, as they say, intractable horse. When after some goading the horse still refuses to budge, the driver, Giuseppe Carlo Ettore, loses patience and starts to beat the animal with his whip. Nietzsche arrives at the crowd that is presumably gathered, and with this the cruel performance of the cab driver, doubtless frothing at the mouth with rage by now, ends. For the gentleman of gigantic stature, with the bushy mustache, to the barely disguised amusement of the bystanders, unexpectedly leaps in front of the driver and, sobbing, flings his arms around the horse's neck. Eventually, Nietzsche's landlord takes him home, where for 2 days he lies motionless and mute on a sofa until he utters the obligatory last words, Mutter, ich bin dumm. After which he lives on, a harmless madman, for 10 more years, in the care of his mother and sister. We do not know what happened to the horse. This story of highly doubtful authenticity nonetheless granted credibility via the natural arbitrariness expected in such cases, serving as a model of the drama of the intellect, casts an especially keen light upon the endgame of the spirit. The demonic star of living philosophy, the dazzling opponent of so-called universal human truths, the inimitable champion, the nearly breathless naysayer to pity, forgiveness, goodness, and compassion, hugging the neck of a beaten horse? To resort to an unforgivably vulgar but inevitable turn of phrase, why not hug the cab driver's neck? With all respect to Dr. Mobius, for whom this was a simple case of the onset of paralysis progressiva caused by syphilis, what we late heirs witness here is a flash of recognizing a tragic error. After a lengthy and tormenting struggle, Nietzsche's very being said nay to a chain of thought in his own philosophy that was to be particularly infernal in its consequences. According to Thomas Mann, the error was that this gentle prophet of a life of untrammeled passion considered life and morality to be antagonists. The truth is, Mann adds, that they belong together. Ethics is the mainstay of life, and the moral man is a true citizen of life's realm. Mann's claim, the absoluteness of this noble declaration, is so beautiful that it is tempting to take some time and sail away with it. Yet we resist. Our ship is steered by Nietzsche in Turin, and this calls for not only different waters, but a different set of nerves. One might even say, to seize a handy turn of phrase, nerves made of steel cable. And we shall need them indeed, since to our shock and dismay, we will arrive at the same harbor where Thomas Mann's dictum leads. We shall need these nerves of steel, because even though the harbor is the same, our feelings there will be quite different from what Mann promises. Nietzsche's drama in Turin suggests that living in accordance with the spirit of moral law is no rank of honor, for I cannot choose its opposite. I may live my life in defiance of it, but this does not mean I am free of its mysterious and truly unnameable power that binds me to it with indissoluble ties. For if that is what I do, live in defiance of it, I can certainly find my way within a societal existence evolved by humankind, and therefore not unsurprisingly pitiful, a life in which, as Nietzsche stated, Living and being unjust are one and the same. But I cannot find my way out of the insoluble dilemma that time and again situates me in the midst of a longing to discover the meaning of my existence. For just as I am part of this human world, I am also part of what, for some unknown reason, I keep calling a greater whole that has, to use an expression with the tip of the hat to the categorical Kant, planted within me this and precisely this imperative. Along with the melancholy empowerment of freedom is the freedom to break the law. By now we are gliding among the buoys that mark the harbor, navigating somewhat blindly, for the lighthouse keepers are asleep and cannot guide our maneuvers. And so we drop our anchor into a murk that instantly swallows up our question about whether this greater whole reflects the higher meaning of the law. And so here we wait, knowing nothing, and we merely look on while, from 1,000 directions, our fellow humans are slowly nearing us. We send no messages, only look on and maintain a silence full of compassion. We believe that this compassion inside us is appropriate as such, and that it would be appropriate too to those who are approaching. Even if it is not so today, it will be so tomorrow, or in 10, or in 30 years. At the latest, in Turin. Turin?